I mean, in the beginning of English literature. I mean, so let us start with the Greeks. And Aeschylus was from 523 to 456 BC, and BC, before Christ. And so yeah, that is that. And Aeschylus was an ancient Greek tragedian. He's also the first whose plays still survive. The others, such are Sophocles and Euripides. These are also some famous Greek tragedians. Aeschylus is also described as the father of tragedy. So that could be a question in your net exam. According to Aristotle, he expanded the number of characters in the plays to allow conflict among them, whereas characters previously had interacted along with the chorus. So the credit for bringing in more characters uh, goes to Aeschylus. He was the one who kind of introduced this thing where we can bring more characters, so to add more color to the play or to the story. And before him there were lesser characters, but after him he sort of started this style of having more characters in the play. So yeah, that is that. And also, only 7 of his estimated, like 70 to 90 plays, survived, and there is a long standing debate regarding which of his plays, Prometheus Bound, uh, regarding one of his plays, that is, Prometheus Bound, which some believe to be written by his son Euphorion. So you can imagine what we are missing out. Like, out of his 70 to 90 plays, only 7 plays are there which have survived, which are found out, and which whose chronicles are still there. So that is something. And there's Prometheus Bound, which some people believe it has been written by Euphorion, his son, although nobody is sure about that. And he was probably the first dramatist to present plays as a trilogy. His Oresteia is the only ancient example of this form that survives. So yeah, he is like the first dramatist to like start this trilogy thing, and his Oresteia is the only ancient example of this form that survives. The Persians is the only surviving Greek classical Greek tragedy concerned with contemporary events and useful source of information, and it is a useful source of information about its period. As You can see that any literature which has been written about the time for Aeschylus, his contemporary time was like that before Christ era. So now it has become a historical text because now it is something that is valuable to us as a source of information, as a historical source of information about the Greek period. So that is something. And yeah, so you can see that Aeschylus's works can be a useful source of information about how the Greeks lived, how the ancient Greeks lived, and what their life was like. And it's quite interesting if you think about it, like with no sources of, with no resources, these people had quite a different life. And sometimes I wonder if these people might, if these people had a chance to look at us, they will definitely believe that we are some sort of aliens. Because see, human civilization goes through so many changes, and it kind of seems that this change thing that happens, it transforms human beings so differently. Because one day I was watching this video on this 80s, don't know, it was a video or some kind of a meme, and in that they have put two photos together, one teenager in the 80s and one adult grown man in the 2020s, and like Timothée Chalamet, I think it was, and Timothée Chalamet in his 30s, and there was another actor in his 30s. So changes in the climate, resources can alter so much of us, can alter so many things of about our biology or about our appearance. So I sometimes wonder if the Greek people might see us with all these different resources, with TikTok and Instagram, internet. they would be shocked, and they will think that we are some sort of aliens. So that is something that just popped into my head, and I thought that I should, just share it with you guys. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Orestia is acclaimed by today's literary academics. The inscription on his graveyard signifies the primary importance of belonging to the city. So in those times also, people had this thing about belonging to the city, being a city girl, being a city boy or something like that. City always attracts you with all its vices. Still, the city life is something which is very exciting. And yeah, so moving on, his only seven tragedies which survived intact are the Persians, 472 BC. It was written in 472 BC. Seven Against Thebes, 407 BC. The Suppliants, 463 BC. Oresteia trilogy and Prometheus Bound. Authorship is disputed. Oresteia trilogy consists of the three tragedies Agamemnon, the Libation Bearers, and the Eumenides. This trilogy tells the bloody story of the family of Agamemnon, king of Argos. Aristotle claimed that Aeschylus added the second actor, Deuteragonist, to the Greek stage. I am sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I even did not know that. Deuteragonist. I think it is called Deuteragonist. Like, protagonist is the first actor and Deuteragonist is the second actor. So yeah, this can come in your exams. Even besides UGC NET, there are so many other exams, and these things can be asked anywhere. Or if you are having a discussion with your friends, you can just tell them, like, do you know that? I mean, it is kind of a nerdy thing to say, but yeah, deuteragonist, it's quite an interesting trivia if you think about it. Although the question about the Oresteia trilogy has been asked in the UGC NET exam, so just keep it in mind. Now we move on to Sophocles. His timeline is from 497 to 406 BC. Sophocles is one of the ancient Greek tragedians whose plays have survived. I think there is a grammatical error. I will correct it. Sophocles wrote 123 plays during the course of his life, but only 7 have survived in complete form. You see, in those days, things were very difficult to be. It was very difficult to store things. It was difficult to chronicle things. I mean, scrolls and paper, they were not as abundantly available. And yeah, so it's kind of a tragedy if you think about it, that so much literature is still uh, uh, not available to us. It's still missing. But anyways, the 7 that have survived in complete form, they have really contributed to contemporary literature, and I believe so. And they are Ajax, Antigone, the women of Trachis, whatever way you wish to pronounce. I think it is Trachis, although you can check it. Oedipus the king, Electra, Philoctetes, I think it is called Philoctetes, or and I pardon me if I'm wrong with the pronunciation, and Oedipus et Colonus. The most famous tragedians of Sophocles feature Oedipus, which means swollen foot, and also Antigone. They are generally known as the Theban plays. Although each play was actually a part of a different trilogy, the other members of which are now lost. He also developed his characters to a greater extent than earlier playwrights such as Aeschylus. Every playwright brings more development to the art, and it is not uncommon in other art forms as well, even in figure skating. Things like, even in sports like figure skating or cricket, things have developed, things have progressed. So same thing applies to playwriting also, like drama also. And only 2 of 7 surviving plays can be dated securely. That is Philoctetes, which was written in 409 BC, and Oedipus et Colonus, which is 401 BC. Theban plays. It consists of 3 plays: Oedipus the king, also called Oedipus Tyrannus, or by its Latin title, Oedipus Rex. Oedipus et Colonus and Antigone. All the three plays concern the fate of Thebes during and after the reign of King Oedipus. According to Aristotle, Sophocles is responsible for introducing the third actor to Greek stage, which is the tritagonist. So Sophocles is responsible for the tritagonist. He is like the third actor. Quite a fun trivia if you think about it. Because most of us know about the protagonist. We don't know about the deuteragonist or tritagonist. Let us move on to Euripides. And his timeline is from 480 to 406 BC. Euripides was a tragedian of classical Athens. According to Suda, out of 92 plays by him, 18 or 19 have survived, more or less complete. In the Hellenistic age, he became cornerstone of ancient literary education along with Homer, Demosthenes, and Menander. And he also became the most tragic of poets due to the nature of his plays. His notable works are Alcestis, 438 BC, Medea, 431 BC, Heraclidae, 430 BC, the Bacchae, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, 405 BC, the Trojan Women, 415 BC, Hippolytus, 428 BC, Helen, 412 BC, Andromache or Andromache, I'm not sure about it. Please check the pronunciation. 525 BC, and I apologize if I did not, I should have, but I'm sorry about that. Hecuba, 424 BC, the Suppliants, 423 BC. Electra, 420 BC, Heracles, 416 BC, Phoenician Women, 410 BC, Orestes, 408 BC, Iphigenia et Aulis,